August 1941. It was an unusually busy time for the Mid-Coast area. Union Fair was underway. Rockport was celebrating their 150th birthday. And according to a news release, President Roosevelt and Prime Minister Winston Churchill was meeting at sea, somewhere between Maine and Newfoundland. Details were sketchy. Where had the two leaders met? What was the nature of their meeting? With war for the second time in a generation ravaging Europe and German U-boats sinking ships in the Atlantic, Britain's Prime Minister didn't chance a crossing merely to pay his diplomatic respects to FDR. Then came the dramatic news that President Roosevelt was coming ashore at Rockland. And even though it wasn't FDR's first visit to Rockland, the announcement sent a wave of excitement through the local population. The city scrambled to prepare for the arrival of the President of the United States. It was a hot, humid day as the presidential yacht arrived at Tilson's Wharf on Saturday, August 16th. Hundreds of newsmen poured into Rockland, anxious to report on the sea conference between the two leaders. And reporters with special clearances were allowed aboard the yacht. According to a local reporter, the president appeared not to be worried by the burdens of his office. In fact, he seemed at peace with the world. The world was not at peace, however, and despite the smiles and good-natured appearance, FDR was guarded in his comments about the meeting, officially called the Atlantic Conference. He even refused to indicate its location. Roosevelt even objected to the announcement of his landing at Rockland. However, he quipped, "It was foggy between North Haven and Rockland, and while it's open season out there, no submarine fired a torpedo at us, as far as we could see anyway." The president opened his press conference describing the Sunday service on the Prince of Wales. There were 300 or 400 British and American servicemen intermingling on the quarterdeck. The Sunday service was conducted by 2 chaplains, one English and one American. The altar was decked with both the American flag and the British flag. Everyone took part in singing the hymns, including the President and the Prime Minister. It was an interesting picture, but Roosevelt and Churchill did not travel thousands of miles across the submarine-infested ocean to sing hymns together. Roosevelt, sensitive to isolationist sentiments, described the meeting as primarily an exchange of views, a swapping of information. Roosevelt was, of course, being evasive. In his own mind, he had already decided that Hitler must be defeated, and that would involve more than hymns sung together on a British battleship. Churchill was disappointed by Roosevelt's lack of commitment, and he made that clear in a letter to the president's close aide, Harry Hopkins. Roosevelt made sure nothing like a treaty or even a signed protocol emerged from their meetings. The Atlantic Charter was an unsigned mimeograph statement of shared objectives, like this marked-up copy belonging to Churchill. The press conference over, the motorcade proceeded to the railroad station by way of Tilson Avenue, known as C Street in those days. A leading seaport, Rockland used to be a tough town, and no part of town was tougher than C Street. But on a muggy afternoon, of August 16, 1941, it resounded to cheers. Roosevelt smiled and waved his hat. There was no speech. Once again, for the last time, he was just passing through.